this is an iHeart podcast. Guaranteed human.
Hey, this is U.S. Olympic gold medalist Tara Davis-Woodhull.
And I'm U.S. Paralympic gold medalist Hunter Woodhull.
As athletes, our lives are about having a clear path.
And a team that you can absolutely trust.
So when it came to getting the best mortgage,
we chose PennyMac.
PennyMac is proud to be the official mortgage provider of Team USA and you.
Learn more at pennymac.com. PennyMac Loan Services, LLC, Equal Housing Lender, NMLS ID 35953. Licensed by the Department of Financial Protection and Innovation under the California Residential Mortgage Lending Act. Conditions and restrictions may apply.
This is Radhi Devlukia from A Really Good Cry. I absolutely love being outdoors, even if it's just stepping outside for a bit of fresh air between meals or taking a mindful walk to clear my head. But the one thing that can really ruin that is when my feet feel cramped in my shoes. So I switched to ultra running, and honestly, it makes such a difference. What I love most is their signature ultra fit, comfort balanced strength. They have this roomy toe box that lets my toes actually spread and move naturally. So I really appreciate that. And I feel more grounded and balanced with every single step. It's like my feet can finally do their job, using all those little muscles that make me feel stronger the more I move. Whether you are a marathon runner, beginner or advanced, or just getting outside to train, Ultras have become my go-to for running and moving mindfully. They fit so well, they're so comfortable, and they just move with you. Shop now at ultrarunning.com and use my code CRY10 for 10% off. That's ALTRA running.com. Experience Ultra and stay out there.
Support for the show comes from Public, the investing platform for those who take it seriously. On Public, you can build a multi-asset portfolio of stocks, bonds, options, crypto, and now generated assets, which allow you to turn any idea into an investable index with AI. It all starts with your prompt. From renewable energy companies with high free cash flow to semiconductor suppliers growing revenue over 20% year over year, you can literally type any prompt and put the AI to work. It screens thousands of stocks, builds a one-of-a-kind index, and lets you backtest it against the S&P 500. Then you can invest in a few clicks. Generated assets are like ETFs with infinite possibilities, completely customizable and based on your thesis, not someone else's. Go to public.com/podcast and earn an uncapped 1% bonus when you transfer your portfolio. That's public.com/podcast. Paid for by Public Investing. Brokerage services by Open to the Public Investing Inc. Member FINRA and SIPC. Advisory services by Public Advisors LLC, SEC registered advisor. Generated assets is an interactive analysis tool. Output is for informational purposes only and is not an investment recommendation or advice. Complete disclosures available at public.com/disclosures.
In the heat of battle, your squad relies on you. Don't let them down. Unlock elite gaming tech at Lenovo.com. Dominate every match with next-level speed, seamless streaming, and performance that won't quit. Push your gameplay beyond performance with Intel Core Ultra processors for the next era of gaming. Upgrade to smooth, high-quality streaming with Intel Wi-Fi 6E and maximize game performance with enhanced overclocking. Win the tech search. Power up at Lenovo.com.
Lenovo.
On February 19th, 2022, there was a mass shooting in Portland, Oregon. A right-wing extremist opened fire at people doing traffic support for a weekly racial justice march. He killed one person. He injured several others. One of the people who was injured, a young woman, is currently paralyzed from the neck down. Her friends and family are raising money, not for immediate survival stuff, for quality of life things, for things to, allow her to enjoy herself out in the world with people, given the fact that she's dealt with something and is dealing with something permanently life-changing. So I wanted to highlight that they're already above their initial goal, but obviously, anything we can give will help her and her family have a higher quality of life, and I think they deserve it. So go to GoFundMe, Portland Mass Shooting Paralyzed Survivor Fund. That's GoFundMe, Portland Mass Shooting Paralyzed Survivor Fund. If you've got some extra cash, the season being what it is, I get that everybody's got a lot of expenses coming up, but if a few folks have some extra bucks, I know it'll be appreciated and it'll help her have a warmer season this year, and she certainly deserves it. So again, GoFundMe, Portland Mass Shooting Paralyzed Survivor Fund. Thank you. God is dead, and you, Jamie Loftus, have killed him.
I did it. Right. I finally did it.
You did it. You did it. No, God was a him, and Jamie killed him. Hammer to the back of the head.
And people are going to be critical of that, but you don't know my story. Mm-hmm. And in my 6-part miniseries, in which I'm played by Amanda Seyfried, I think you're going to start to see my side of the story, and courageous. I think I'm definitely not going to jail for what I did.
That's good. Unlike founder of Theranos, Elizabeth Holmes, who we just found out has been sentenced to 11.25 years in prison.
I'm kind of
I have mixed
feelings because it's like people don't go to, first of all, the prison industrial complex in general.
No, it doesn't make anyone better. To the extent that there's value in the present day and putting people in prison, it's people who are like a severe ongoing danger. And right. I don't see this making anything better. Like at the same time, I hate her, so I'm not gonna.
She's horrible.
It's not gonna be the top injustice I rue today.
I do kind of like that her. After being exposed as an unrepentant criminal, she's like, "Oh, I think I'm just gonna kind of be like a normie girl for a while, and I'm gonna go to Coachella with my new boyfriend." Have a kid.
Yeah,
and you're like, Liz, it's too late. It's too late for that, Liz.
You defrauded people with a fake medical device that led folks to get treatment for things they didn't have and ignore illnesses they did. Which is bad.
You got caught before too many bodies hit the floor, but that would have stopped you.
But you didn't really care. You applied Steve Jobs logic to something that was not just a silly box to keep in your pocket.
Lizzie.
Lizzie.
Lizzie's
I don't know.
Is again, what we learned.
Also, putting her in prison for, probably 9 years when you consider all of the other things is like not gonna help anything. It'll just mean that kid she has grows up without a mom for 9 years, and that's not gonna make the world better.
It's like it's a huge moment for many things can be true at once, and us having to hold all of those truths and still record an episode of Behind the Bastards. Can I tell you about a legal case?
This actually will be relevant to the episode, but yes, please.
Wait, really?
Yes.
Okay, yes. This is definitely not going to be relevant. So let's pivot. A legal case I was thinking about today was the Beanie Babies billionaire when he was taken to court in 2013 for holding money in a Swiss bank account. So it was like a tax
why is that illegal? Oh, a tax evasion.
Tax evasion charge. Yeah. So he was up for as many as 5 years in prison for tax evasion. Then he got off with, he's a billionaire. He's never going to suffer a consequence, right? But like he ended up getting a 2 years of probation on the ground that it had been too publicly humiliating. So he didn't have to go to jail because he was too embarrassed.
So funny.
It was so embarrassing that he didn't have to go to jail. What? That's absolutely fucking weird. Anyways,
I'm gonna see how far this goes by committing murder and then having my pants fall down and like, well, judge, look. Yes, I did stab that man 47 times. But then everybody saw my underpants. Yeah.
Then I pee-peed myself. So
I feel like that
I think that ought to square.
Yeah. Can we just zero this one out?
Man, I love the Beanie Babies story so much. I'm surrounded by my beans, feeling safe.
Wow, that's good. You do literally have one on your shoulder right now.
Yeah, Patty the platypus.
Just like I have this rifle next to me.
I think that we both have our comfort objects at the ready.
That's right. So, Jamie, speaking of Elizabeth Holmes, because the person we're talking about today is going to be the next story like that. By this time next year, there probably is going to be an HBO documentary about this guy.
Oh, God.
Maybe Taylor Kitsch could probably play him. Actually, if he wanted to really round that out. Taylor Kitsch played hot David Koresh in the Waco show.
Oh, Jamie, I walked into that one. I'm so pissed.
Yeah, they'd have to give him like a belly suit or something. That's not anti-fat. I'm just being accurate. But he could do it.
I'm pissed.
Maybe that is,
I don't want to see this man ever again. No, I'm mad.
Taylor Kitsch? You don't want to see Taylor Kitsch again?
No.
You don't want to see those cum gutters again? Unbelievable.
God damn it, Robert.
There's plenty of in this town, Robert. There's a million cum gutters. I don't need those. I don't need those in my.
That is true. But anyway,
cum runs through the street. Dude.
That is true of Los Angeles and no other city. Today we are talking about a guy who absolutely never comes. Sam Bankman-Fried.
Why does
Do you know
he
this
come?
guy? Do you know this guy?
I don't know this guy. No.
You don't know this guy. You don't know this guy. Have you caught any news in the last week about how like a massive cryptocurrency exchange has collapsed, plummeting all of
I did hear about that.
This is that guy.
Oh, my.
This is the guy with his like polyamorous sex ring that was running a big crypto bank in the Bahamas and it all fell apart and now billions of dollars are gone.
You've lost me again.
Oh, great. Okay. Well, I'll try to. This is still breaking.
Okay.
We are, because this is a Thanksgiving week episode. We only do one episode on Thanksgivings. I needed a single one. So I just want to give everyone background on this guy. We may come back to this story because there's a lot we don't fully understand about how he did what he did and the degree to which, but the gist of this is that this guy ran a trading service called Alameda Research and a crypto exchange. And an exchange is basically like a bank, right? It's a cross between a bank and like a trading platform called FTX, which was one of the largest cryptocurrency exchanges in the world and was also considered by most people to be the most stable and like ethical and legitimate, right? People who are just kind of on the outside looking in. When everything collapsed earlier this year, right? You remember that? We had that big crypto.
I was engaged in that. It's just that I get a lot of my news from journalists on Twitter, and they've been busy this week.
Yes. So when crypto like fell apart, when a lot of crypto fell apart earlier this year, and like a bunch of places went under, FTX was one of the ones that stayed stable and actually were buying up a bunch of like failing crypto companies to try to like prop up the industry. They just collapsed, and like the value of everything has been plummeting for the last several days. It's a big disaster. It is very
In words that will annoy me as little as possible, can you explain why FTS remained solvent and other?
It is not solvent. Oh, now why it did?
Why did it outlast them?
Because they lied. So they were operating the short end of how to describe it, and there will be more details to come. But at present, it seems fair to say that it was a giant Ponzi scheme, where they were taking in money, promising unreasonable returns, using other investor money to gamble on stuff to try to provide anyway. And it worked.
Unlike all the other crypto guys, they were dishonest.
Yeah, it is very likely what differentiates this is the scale, because this is very likely a financial crime on the level of what Bernie Madoff did. We are talking in the $10 to $20 billion stolen.
Holy cow.
Range. A lot of money. This is a serious financial crime.
Okay. I'm going in on this pretty cold, so I'm listening.
So for the other kind of mass like touchstone of this is that it has led to a class action lawsuit against Larry David, Shaquille O'Neal, Tom Brady, and a number of celebrities who were all in a Super Bowl ad for FTX.
I remember that ad. That was so embarrassing for my man Larry.
And my man Shaquille.
The lawsuit is basically
Shaquille
saying
will advertise
this was a
anything.
high-dollar Ponzi scheme, and you guys were using your name recognition to sell unregistered securities, which they were. Which they definitely were.
Sorry, I just want to circle back to Shaquille. Shaquille O'Neal will put his name on anything to the point where... It is
very funny.
I worked at a haunted hayride this year, which we don't talk about because... It was a bad idea. But the rival
I told Sophie that.
What? You told her it was a bad idea?
I told her it was a bad idea.
Guess what? I'm alive, bitch. Bitch, I lived.
I supported it.
I lived to tell the tale. It's very unclear who is right in the side of should I work at a haunted hayride or not. I still haven't really landed on an answer. Point being, our closest rival, haunted hayride-wise, was Shacktoberfest. It was a Shack-themed haunted attraction in which the only Shaq-related thing was a gigantic inflatable Frankenstein that looked like Shaq, which did sound awesome.
That sounds actually like the best time anyone's ever had.
I love Shaq will put his name on anything, including crypto and Halloween. One of which I'm supportive of.
What a king. Probably not. I'm sure there's horrible things about Shaq that have come out. That seems almost unavoidable. Anyway, Sam Bankman-Fried is the guy behind this gigantic financial crime that is still unraveling as we do this episode. And I want to talk less about what happened on the exchange, because none of us want to talk about how somebody carries out the nuts and bolts of a cryptocurrency scam. But I want to talk about I want to talk about the social elements of the scam. I want to talk about how he conned the media, how he conned celebrities, and how he conned regulators. And I just want to talk about also the way some of these people talked and wrote about him, because there's a lot about I don't know, a week or so ago, we did an episode on The Daily Show we do, It Could Happen Here, about ethical altruism, which is, in brief, a theory that, like, instead of trying to help people just because they need help, you should only help people after you consider the way to help people that is, like, the absolute most beneficial way for, like, the least amount of, effort. It's utilitarianism, right? How can I do the greatest good with the least resources and whatnot? The least amount of, And it's the way a lot of these, like, and it's merged with this kind of thinking towards what billionaire types call long-termism. And the gist of this is, like, it's not worthwhile for me to do stuff like pay taxes to have a society or guarantee, like, universal health care. Instead, the most ethical thing that I should do is make as much money as I personally can and then put that money into things that I believe will save the world, like research to stop AIs from killing everyone and getting to Mars and shit. It's a way for billionaires.
Or really fast trains.
It's a way for billionaires and the other mega rich to justify, like, continuing to do exactly what they want and feel like they're saving the world. Anyway, Sam Bankman-Fried,
the guy from Beanie Baby, you know what the Beanie Babies billionaire did to improve the world?
He made a lot of Beanie Babies?
And then he bought the Four Seasons Hotel and kept making Beanie Babies. He didn't do shit.
I'm fine with that compared to these guys.
Because
they're all doing the Elon Musk thing where they're pretending. Anyway, Sam Bankman-Fried is one of these guys, and we're going to get into that. But we did this episode on It Could Happen Here, where he was kind of a tangential character in this very unsettling and insidious movement that is behind guys like Elon Musk, who are claiming to be saving the world while just fucking over people. And then, like, 4 days after it came out, his entire life unraveled and his fortune disappeared overnight because he was a giant con artist.
What a treat.
It's very funny. So that's why we're talking about him right now.
Yeah, he's like 30 years old and looks like Mark Zuckerberg and David Dobrik's love child.
He's 30 years old? I feel great about myself right now.
He's a Mark Zuckerberg and David Dobrik's love child.
Look, I shouldn't call anyone a schlub, but he looks like a schlub.
I forget what David Dobrik looked like because my brain protects myself.
Respectfully, I understand.
Two villains love child.
Yeah. Anyway, so Sam Bankman-Fried was born in 1992 on the campus of Stanford University, continuing a long and proud tradition of absolutely nothing good ever coming from that hellhole. His parents are both extremely prominent Stanford professors. His mother, Barbara, is a lawyer who clerked for the Second Circuit Court and graduated from Harvard. She founded Mind the Gap, a somewhat shady and mysterious Democratic fundraising group. I think it's shady in that people don't exactly know where all the money comes from or, like, what their goals are. She also
that sounds shady.
Yeah. She also pinned an essay in 2013 that the right wing is going nuts about because she was basically arguing that, like, good and evil are less a factor in what people do than environmental factors and all that stuff. Like, when people do things that are bad, it's more often a product of their environment. It was kind of a oh God, what's that fucking psychologist? It was like a Skinner type argument where it's like, well, if people have bad inputs in their youth, then that's going to determine. Anyway, I think that's funny given what happens. I'm going to guess she sucks at what she sucks, and so does his dad, Joseph Bankman.
Oh, good.
Joseph is also a lawyer. He is a graduate from Yale. His big claim to fame was developing a proposal for an overhaul of the California tax return system that would have filled out citizens' tax returns in advance. And I know I just said he sucked, but actually that sounds like a good thing. I think that's actually a cool thing to advocate for. The measure failed by one vote after heavy lobbying from Intuit, a tax prep software company.
One vote, no shit.
Yeah, it kind of is. It's total bullshit because it's the thing everybody agrees with on paper, but nobody will actually fight the tax prep companies, which is like, hey, the IRS like knows more or less what I make and like knows more or less what I owe. Why don't I just get a thing from them? Why do I have to go through this? Like, anyway,
there's no need, but it's like that's the only
other countries do it that way. We don't though. And it's
because there has to be a convoluted system that's expensive and where they can charge you if you make the tiniest mistake because you can't read size 1 font.
Well, and more to the point, because I don't actually think the IRS is advocating to keep it a pain in the ass. I think it's these tax prep companies because they have an entire industry based on charging people to do the thing that they have to do to avoid going to fucking prison. Anyway, I said he's an asshole, and I'm sure he is, but he was right about this. And I don't know what to say about that. Like all of us, Joseph is also a podcaster. He is the host of the co-host of the Stanford Legal podcast.
Oh, insufferable times too.
And he's a nerd.
If it wasn't the holiday season and I wasn't like getting ready for friends and family and all that good stuff, I would have listened to his podcast and we would probably be making fun of him. But you can do that on your own.
Oh my goodness.
I believe
Robert,
in you.
Doesn't it feel so horrible when you think of how many people do what we do, but they're the worst person you've ever heard of? It's so sad. It's embarrassing.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know.
I avoid self-identifying as a podcaster as it is. It's still not a but then on top of that, they're like, oh, like what? Like what
I mean,
Joe Rogan does?
the only thing that I can compare it to is like when I started making a living as a writer 15 years ago, and I would say that at a party or something. Someone asked like, "Well, what do you do?" And I'm like, "Well, I'm a writer." And like 4 other people would say, "Yeah, me too." And then you wind up listening to everybody's pitches for their novels that they're never going to finish.
It's the same thing.
And so eventually, I just started lying and saying that I still worked in special ed.
Well, it's the same thing with like, if you say you're a comedian in a party, you're about to have the worst night of your life.
Never identify as a comedian in public.
Oh, me too. And I've done one whole open mic and my joke was very offensive. And isn't it a comedian's job to push boundaries and be tell me your joke. It's like,
you know how Lenny Bruce read that list of curse words? Well, I just do that with slurs. Here, let me show you.
Yeah, you're like, Lenny Bruce was not funny in that period of his career, even a little. Anyways, our jobs are embarrassing, is what I'm saying.
Anyway, our jobs are indeed embarrassing. So as you might guess from all of that, Sam was born into what amounts to America's like liberal aristocracy. He is a fucking coastal elite, right? This kid grows up on the Stanford campus to Stanford professors. One of his aunts teaches at Columbia University, is like a professor there. He has close family connections to employees at Yale and at Harvard. As well as Stanford. Like his parents both go to Harvard, I think.
He's a little Kennedy.
He is he's that. He is as you do not get much more of a rarefied like intellectual air.
He's wearing linens around.
Yes.
This is how I think about.
Yes, this is a child who at age 8 has strong opinions on Immanuel Kant.
And people will cheer for him at the table.
No. We're about to get into that, Jamie Loftus.
I just had a vision of a child sitting at like a holiday dinner and saying derivative, and then someone going, "Oh, that's amazing! Wow, he is really coming along, isn't he?"
Yeah, this is a little kid that when he like sits down at the doctor's office, pulls out a fucking, I don't know, Derrida or something book. Just so you know, he knows fancy philosophers.
Yeah,
God
Derrida
damn it,
board book.
Mm-hmm. So his parents raised him and his brother to be utilitarians. One of the articles about them I
was
found
raised
say
to be
that
into SpongeBob.
Okay, I was raised to hassle cows in our back 40. His parents, so this article notes that nights around the family dinner table often focused around debates about how to do the greatest good for the greatest number of people. In later interviews with, I'm going to get to this guy in a second, the absolute dick writingest journalist to ever write dick, Sam would claim that his most formative moment came at age 12 when he was weighing arguments around the abortion debate. So, first off,
Hold on.
No.
On point 1, no, because not only no, also like in the context of like, where would he have been doing this?
I'm guessing at like around the family table, or when they have everybody's got their brandy and he's drinking some sort of fucking tea that's insufferable, and they're all talking about people's rights as if it's like a fun intellectual problem, like how to fix an engine.
Because for them it is, because wherever they land, the rules aren't going to apply to them anyways.
Yes.
Where does he fall? Where does he fall in the debate?
That's a great question. So I'm going to quote now from an article previously published by Sequoia Capital and written by Adam Fisher, who should never be allowed to live this article down. When I say the dick writingest, like fucking PR flack journal, it's shameful. Quote, A rights-based theorist might argue that there aren't really any discontinuous differences as a fetus becomes a child, and thus fetus murder is essentially child murder. The utilitarian argument compares the consequences of each. The loss of an actual child's life, a life in which a great deal of parental and societal resources have been invested, is much more consequential than the loss of a potential life in utero, and thus, to a utilitarian, abortion looks more like birth control than like murder. SBF, that's what they always call him, the kid, Sam. SBF's application of utilitarianism helped him resolve some nagging doubts he had about the ethics of abortion. It made him feel comfortable being pro-choice, as his friends, family, and peers were. He saw the essential rightness of his philosophical faith. So that's very fucked up. That is so deep. Like, the term choice is used at the very end there, but it's clear that, like, he's not thinking about this in terms of, like, the actual value of human bodily autonomy. That does not weigh into utilitarian calculus for him whatsoever.
No, that is to quote I would argue my friend Robert. No.
And again, even like, look, I shit reflexively sometimes on utilitarianism, not because of the inherent value or disvalue of thinking that way, but about the way it gets talked about by these people. But like, if you're actually a utilitarian and you care about the greatest good for the greatest number of people, then bodily autonomy should factor into that, right? Like, human bodily autonomy should be hugely important to you.
Yes.
But no, that's not logical. All that matters is like, well, how many, if less resources than this have been invested in the fetus, then it's not a person. So abortion makes that's fucking bullshit logic. Fuck you.
You're doing too much math. Stop.
Yeah. This isn't a math problem, Sam. Like, this is not a fucking math problem. Not everything's a goddamn math problem.
Robert, he won't listen to you unless you call him SBF. And I was like,
fucking
why is Robert
Christ.
talking about sunscreen? SBF.
Yeah, we'll get that. They all call him fucking SBF. And I hate it, but also as this went on, I started using it more and more because it's a pain in the ass to type his whole fucking last name out.
All right.
This is one where I'm not going to give him a pass, but I get it. If you write about this fucker a lot, it does make it easier. So anyway, all of this is very bad. But you know what's not bad, Jamie?
What?
The products and services that support this podcast.
No, that's not true. They are.
That might be true.
I've checked. Hold on. I just ran a quick check on that, and you can't guarantee that even 1%.
But what about the greatest good for the greatest number of people? And given that I'm a people, so it works out pretty well. It works out very well for me.
I think that if you actually have more advertising revenue, you will actually build a really fast train, like you've been promising me you would.
Yeah. I'm gonna build the Hyperloop.
Yeah.
And
you've been saying that.
I'm going to promise you one thing. It's going to kill a hell of a lot more people than that Simpsons monorail did.
And I'm going to, and look, not everyone is going to hold you to task for that, but I am.
Thank you, Jamie. Thank you for keeping me honest and ensuring that we really make a memorable disaster.
Look, I'm available anytime I'm not visiting my friend Liz in jail.
Mm-hmm. This podcast is sponsored by BetterHelp. I get it. February's full of flowers, candy, stuffed animals, and of course, expectations about Valentine's Day in particular, and about relationships and dating in general. And these conversations, these expectations can feel overwhelming and stressful. No matter where you are, whether you're married or dating or single or just focusing on you, you're right on time, and therapy can help you find your way and see more clearly where you want to be. So if you're looking for a little bit of help figuring out things in your own love life, if you're looking for some help balancing things, therapy can be a great option, and BetterHelp is one option for therapy you should consider. BetterHelp therapists work according to a strict code of conduct and are fully licensed in the U.S. BetterHelp does the initial matching work for you so you can focus on your therapy goals. A short questionnaire helps identify your needs and preferences, and their 12-plus years of experience and industry-leading match fulfillment rate means they typically get it right the first time. If you aren't happy with your match, switch to a different therapist at any time from their tailored recommendations. BetterHelp is the world's largest online therapy platform, having served over 6 million people globally, with an average rating of 4.9 out of 5 for a live session based on over 1.7 million client reviews. So sign up today and get 10% off at betterhelp.com/behind. That's betterhelp.com/behind.
For period protection you can put on and forget about, nothing beats Knix leak-proof underwear. North America's #1 leak-proof underwear brand. Let's face it, life can be unpredictable, but your leak-proof underwear shouldn't be. That's why millions of people choose Knix. For periods, for light leaks, for everyday freshness. Knix undies are super comfy, super absorbent, and made to handle whatever your day throws at you. Day 2 of your period? Covered. Your daily run? No problem. That big sneeze? You know the one. Yep, we've got you. And with styles like bikinis, boy shorts, thongs, and high-rise, plus sizes from extra small to 4XL, Knix makes it easy to find your perfect fit. Say goodbye to stress and leaks and say hello to undies that work just as hard as you do, no matter the leak. Find the style and level of protection you want at Knix.com and use code FLOW15 for 15% off. That's KNIX.com, code FLOW15 for 15% off. Knix, for your leaks, for your life.
This is Radhi Devlukia from A Really Good Cry. I absolutely love being outdoors, even if it's just stepping outside for a bit of fresh air between meals or taking a mindful walk to clear my head. But the one thing that can really ruin that is when my feet feel cramped in my shoes. So I switched to ultra running, and honestly, it makes such a difference. What I love most is their signature ultra fit, comfort balanced strength. They have this roomy toe box that lets my toes actually spread and move naturally. So I really appreciate that. And I feel more grounded and balanced with every single step. It's like my feet can finally do their job, using all those little muscles that make me feel stronger the more I move. Whether you are a marathon runner, beginner or advanced, or just getting outside to train, Ultras have become my go-to for running and moving mindfully. They fit so well, they're so comfortable, and they just move with you. Shop now at ultrarunning.com and use my code CRY10 for 10% off. That's ALTRA running.com. Experience Ultra and stay out there.
Support for the show comes from Public, the investing platform for those who take it seriously. On Public, you can build a multi-asset portfolio of stocks, bonds, options, crypto, and now generated assets, which allow you to turn any idea into an investable index with AI. It all starts with your prompt. From renewable energy companies with high free cash flow to semiconductor suppliers growing revenue over 20% year over year, you can literally type any prompt and put the AI to work. It screens thousands of stocks, builds a one-of-a-kind index, and lets you backtest it against the S&P 500. Then you can invest in a few clicks. Generated assets are like ETFs with infinite possibilities, completely customizable and based on your thesis, not someone else's. Go to public.com/podcast and earn an uncapped 1% bonus when you transfer your portfolio. That's public.com/podcast. Paid for by Public Investing. Brokerage services by Open to the Public Investing Inc. Member FINRA and SIPC. Advisory services by Public Advisors LLC, SEC registered advisor. Generated assets is an interactive analysis tool. Output is for informational purposes only and is not an investment recommendation or advice. Complete disclosures available at public.com/disclosures.
We are back. What a good time. So Sam Bankman-Fried is above all else a numbers guy. And I guess as a kid, he was a numbers kid. His parents sent him to Crystal Springs Uplands, a fancy prep school in Hillsborough, California. I looked through the website because I wanted to make fun of it, but it just kind of seems like a really fancy school. I don't know. I'm sure it's a great place to get an education. They put a lot of, I will tell this, they devote a lot of screen resources to letting you know that they are not racist and that most of their students aren't white. They also have a French cinema class for 6th graders, which is fine, but the cranky asshole in me that still has a little piece of my soul raised by right-wing radio wants to say shit about it.
I was raised by left-wing people, and I still think that that's some loser shit, man. I think that that's fucking dorky and goofy and like it's like what. You know, you meet people like that in the wild, and they're sometimes and maybe even often very sweet people. But yeah. I'm like trying to be like, oh, you know who Plankton is? And they're like, no. And then but they've been watching French movies since they were like 7. And I just don't really respect that.
If I meet a 6th grader if I meet a 6th grader with strong opinions about French cinema, like, I'm just going to leave. I'm just going to walk away.
Wow. Robert, that's really brave of you to march out of a conversation with an 11-year-old. Like,
I'm not putting up with that shit. Absolutely not.
I'm leaving this 6th grade class. My name's Robert Evans, and I think you're
out of here.
Doofuses.
Fucking go watch your, Renoir? Is that one of them? That sounds like one of them. Claude Renoir. Is he a painter or did he make movies?
Renoir's a painter. I know the one you're looking for, and I was looking for it too, but I don't remember. But guess who? Do you know who Plankton is? Of course you do.
I know who Plankton is, and I also know that at least one of the directors they study is a pedophile. Just knowing a little bit about French cinema. That's unavoidable. So he does well. Again, the school's probably fine. He does well at the school. He was notably insular. He avoided most of his classmates to play StarCraft, which is good, and League of Legends, which objectively sucks. He also played a lot of Magic the Gathering, so I am confident he did not get laid in high school. This is based on extensive personal experience.
You're like, I just actually did some field research and
about 4 years of it.
Okay, interesting.
For college, he was accepted to and attended MIT, which marked out his family's elite North American university punch card. They really hit them all now that they've got an MIT kid in the family.
They get a free coffee. Yeah. There used to be an MIT. So when I was doing comedy in Boston, there was like MIT had like a secret comedy club that was just for MIT students, and it was awful. Oh God, yeah. They paid you okay, but it was like, they're like, if you like knew someone who like met someone who went to MIT and they came to your shows and they're like, oh, we did the math and you are allowed to come to they called it their speakeasy. I wonder if it's still around. It was not fun.
Yeah.
Not a fun crowd, I will say. But best of luck to whatever was going on there.
Yeah.
So he goes to MIT.
He goes to MIT.
He might have been at one of those shows. We're on the same age.
He might have, because he joins a fraternity there. An MIT, well, Jamie, it's an MIT-specific co-ed nerd fraternity. So
nice.
It's
what
called
could go wrong?
Epsilon Theta. And here's how Adam Fisher, the guy I hate, described them in his article, which was bad. Quote, a co-ed fraternity of super geeks, similarly interested in magic and video games. Thetans are fond of debating math, physics, computer science, linguistics, philosophy, and logic problems for fun at alcohol-free parties. Now, I do know a little bit about MIT, and I know another thing these nerds often do is kill themselves using nitrous oxide, because they will try to flood entire rooms with nitrous to do like a 20% nitrous to O2 ratio and kill themselves. It's a thing that happens. Look it up. MIT nitrous deaths. Yeah.
Man, all I did in college was drink too many blue moons. Wow.
It's quite a thing.
Yikes.
So
what
I don't know.
What are you doing over there?
I don't know how much I believe that they were always alcohol and drug-free parties, because if there's one thing I know from nerds, it's that they do a shitload of drugs.
I definitely didn't hear of this one because I went to a couple of MIT frat parties and they were not sober. Fun fact, one of the MIT frat parties I went to, for some reason when I was in college and when I would get really drunk, I would like to like steal things from wherever I was. And so I stole 2 critical pool balls from an MIT frat house, and someone was able to trace it back to me and they demanded their pool balls back. And I embarrassingly, I think I capitulated. I think I did give them back. I shouldn't.
Wow. Actually, so this one kid I'm finding in 99 died because he put a bag over his head to inhale nitrous, which is, fuck, man. How did you get into MIT?
I don't know any. I was like, I don't know
we shouldn't be making
drugs.
fun of this guy.
I don't know anything
But don't put bags over your head, kids.
Yeah. I learned that in public school, no less.
So many other ways to do whippets than putting a plastic bag over your head. Anyway, whatever. According to the popular Sam Bankman-Fried endorsed version of the story, he pivoted towards an almost obsessive devotion to ethics in his freshman year. He went vegan, he organized a protest against factory farming, and he worried obsessively over how he could change the world for the better. And it was at this point that Sam met a man who was going to change his life forever, William McCaskill. If you want to learn more about this guy, I do recommend the episode of It Could Happen Here on effective altruism. This guy is today the pop philosopher of effective altruism and long-termism. He is in Elon Musk's text messages that we all got as a result of the Twitter lawsuit. At this point, he was also at MIT, and he met with Sam at a cafe in Cambridge, Massachusetts, where McCaskill...
Which one?
I don't know. I'm sure it's out there somewhere, Jamie. I'm sure you've gotten a hot dog there. That seems likely.
No, any place this guy's going, it doesn't have hot dogs. They're not ethical. They're famously unethical.
So, yeah, you're probably right. So, McCaskill explained the concept of effective altruism to him, which is, again, this idea that, like, what matters is you should, like, think kind of coldly and robotically about how you do help to make sure that your charity money does the most that it can do. But one of the big, like, arguments about it is that, like, okay, well, what if should you save a drowning child instead of saving, like, 3 kids from a burning building? And it's like, that's a nonsense choice. Nobody's ever been presented with that choice at any point in the history of the human race. That is not a reasonable. That is not a. There's no point to that ethical argument. You're not smart for debating it.
Problem just dropped, Robert.
Yeah,
and it makes no sense.
Yeah, it makes no fucking sense. There's like bits of it that are reasonable, which is that like, well, it makes sense to like look at the best thing you can do financially, in terms of donating money is, malaria prevention, because it winds up being the most cost-effective thing. But it's like, okay, does that mean we shouldn't put money into making the water in Flint, Michigan drinkable? And a lot of these guys will say no, because that's not the best use of money. And it's like, well, we can do many things with money, especially if we tax billionaires and put it towards rebuilding infrastructure.
Like,
a number of things can be done.
What? Sorry, I had to go to my friend Elon's shitty McMansion.
McCaskill kind of pills this guy on effective altruism. He frames it as a strategic investment whose success was measured in populations worth of human lives. He estimated, using back-of-the-envelope math, that $2,000 could save 1 life, and so $1 million could save 500 people. $1 billion could save 500,000, and $1 trillion could theoretically save 500 million lives. Based on that totally legitimate math,
people are math, Robert.
People are math. It all works out that way.
Yeah.
Based on that absolutely real math, the only ethical way for a genius like Sam to use his time and talents is to become the world's first trillionaire. And I'm going to quote again from that article that I made. SBF listened, nodding as McCaskill made his pitch. The earn-to-give logic was airtight. It was, SBF realized, applied utilitarianism. Knowing what he had to do, SBF simply said, "Yep, that makes sense." But right there, between a bright yellow sunshade and the crumb-strewn red brick floor, SBF's purpose in life was set. He was going to get filthy rich for charity's sake. All the rest was merely execution risk. His course established, McCaskill gave SBF one less navigational nudge to set him on his way, suggesting that SBF get an internship at Jane Street that summer. And so,
for the good of mankind,
get in the finance industry and gamble like a motherfucker.
Little asshole! I swear to God,
I fucking hate these people so much.
The nerd. What? Oh God, makes sense. Yeah, you know. Look, I think that
airtight. Airtight. You can't debate that. There's no argument to be made about that logic, Jamie.
I mean, I know that this is the wrong person to be turning on in this moment, but this is the dick ridingest language I've ever heard.
Jamie.
This is like,
he has not begun to ride dick.
This is choking. He's choking on the thing. This man's got no gag reflex and no sign of slowing down.
Jamie, I'm going to read you some passages from this that are going to make you gag. It is unbearable. So, nice. And it's like, this article's like 10,000 fucking words. It took me like an hour to get through this thing. It's massive.
He's like, maybe if I do it, he'll give me a kiss on the mouth. We'll see.
Well, basically, this was published by Sequoia, which is a massive like investment fucking fund thing on their website.
Don't you mean journalistic entity?
Yeah. It looks like that. It looks exactly like an article from like Wired or something. Like they clearly laid it out like that. But I think it was done because they put like $200 million into his company. So they needed to justify it by making him look like a genius. So
it's like those articles that like are occasionally, I mean, it's more scary when they're on actual journalistic outlets and then there's just a little tag saying like, hey, this is sponsored by RuPaul's fracking farm or whatever the fuck. And it's like, why fracking?
RuPaul and ExxonMobil. LGBT icons. So Sam Bankman-Fried gets into finance, and he's a very good trader. I have no way to judge this, but Sequoia says he was a good trader. Sure. He was good at making a lot of money for other people and also a lot of money for himself besides.
And for all
he gave away 50% of his income to his favorite charities, but those charities were mostly the Center for Effective Altruism and 80,000 Hours, which is also an effective altruism charity.
What do they do with money?
That's a great question, Jamie. It allows guys like McCaskill to live very well while also saying they only take $30,000 in salaries and give away the rest because their lives are heavily subsidized by these organizations that allow billionaires to pretend to be heroes.
So like charity.
So like charity, yeah. So he remains there happily for years until 2017 when he begins to feel as if something is not right. Now, spoilers.
He's having a quarter-life crisis.
He is having a quarter-life crisis. And this kid absolutely is a con artist. And what I am giving you is the polished, press-friendly version of the story for a guy whose entire life, as far as I can tell, was one long setup for an ambitious con. So when I say stuff like he gave a lot of money to charity, because there's like other charities he gives to, some of which sound reasonable, but I have actually no evidence that he did. Like, I have no evidence that he did, and I haven't seen it.
One of those.
So when I say stuff like he felt like that, or when I say stuff like he felt unfulfilled at Jane Street, that doesn't mean he actually did, because we are at present reliant on a lot of reporting from back when this kid was the toast of Wall Street. Now, after his life fell apart and his company crashed and it became clear that he was a financial criminal, it also came out that the guy who wrote The Big Short has been following him for 6 months. So I suspect at some point that's going to be fun. We're all going to be in for a real treat when that book hits.
I love when you're like, and guess who is following him around? You're like, he's got Michael Lewis on his tail.
If you're an investor, it's somebody involved in one of these companies probably should have been able to find out, like, oh, hey, the Big Short guy's hanging out with him. That probably means this is a giant financial crime. That guy's not going to just hang out with a dude who's good at legally making money to write about how good he is at making money legally. That's not Michael Lewis's beat.
I'm kind of going for like a change of pace this time. I'm just going to try to see a guy who's like doing something right.
Yeah. Michael Lewis, aren't you the guy who only writes about financial crimes on like a gigantic scale?
No. I think that he's just probably just trying to network.
Yeah, he just really liked this guy's attitude towards altruism. So anyway, here's how that, again, very dick writing PR flack motherfucker wrote about what happens next. Quote, he realized, too secure. SBF's mind had been trained almost from birth to calculate. As a schoolboy, the hedonic calculus of utilitarianism had him trying to maximize the utility function, measured in utils, of course, for abortion. During his teenage game... I know. That's a sentence. That's
measured
a sentence.
In doesn't he say, of course?
No, I said that. He does say, of course. Yes, measured in utils, of course.
Of course. Oh, suck my ass, you fucking
unbelievable
loser.
During his teenage gaming years, his mathematical abilities allowed him to sharpen his tactics and win. And of course, every trade SBF ever made at Jane was the subject of a risk-reward calculation. All of it boiled down to expected value. The formula is fairly simple. If the amount won multiplied by the probability of winning a bet is greater than the amount lost multiplied by the probability of losing a bet, then you go for it, irrespective of units. Utils, euros, dollars, we're all subject to the same reckoning. But at Jane, SBF osmosed another trading principle. He learned to be risk neutral. In simple terms, a trader, given a choice between a $50 and a 50% chance at $100, must be agnostic if they want to maximize the expected value of earnings over a lifetime. Those who prefer the sure win are risk averse, and those who would rather gamble are risk lovers. But both risk lovers and the risk averse are suckers equally, because over the long run, they lose out to the risk neutral, who take both deals without prejudice. That makes no sense. That makes no sense at all, because like you're assuming you have to like choose between one. Can you just take both? Is that the offer? Because it seems like the whole thought experiment is about choosing between one. None of this makes very much sense.
I had a brain hemorrhage in the middle of that, and then I couldn't stop thinking about. Do you think that utilitarians? How do utilitarians feel about kissing with tongue? Do you think? How many utils does it take to kiss with tongue, or don't waste your fucking time?
Let me write the equation out, Jamie, and try to sketch out the math on.
I think
tongue
they wouldn't
kissing.
be into it. I think they would be like, "What's the point?"
Yeah, that seems real.
I only have 5 utils. Sorry. Okay,
Jamie, I got to continue this.
What the fuck did that sentence say? What did that say?
I don't know, but we have to read another one. Quote, here SBF realized was the rub. When he applied this principle to his own life, he came up short. There was little chance he'd get himself fired from Jane Street. Thus, the decision to stick with Jane was a risk-averse preference. It was the logical equivalent of being offered a choice between $50 and 50% of $100 and saying, give me President Grant. SBF was risk-neutral on behalf of Jane Street, but not, he realized, for his own life. To be fully rational about maximizing his income on behalf of the poor, he should apply his trading principles across the board. He had to find a risk-neutral career path, which, if we strip away the trader jargon, actually means he needed to take on a lot more risk in the hopes of...
Now we're stripping it away?
Oh, Jamie, you need to hear this.
At this point, we're stripping it away? I've been asleep for 6 minutes. Come on.
Which, if we strip away the trader jargon, actually means he felt he needed to take on a lot more risk in the hopes of becoming part of the global elite. The math couldn't be clearer. Very high risk multiplied by dynastic wealth trumps low risk multiplied by mere rich guy wealth. To do the most good for the world, SBF needed to find a path on which he'd be a coin toss away from going totally bust. So, the path is risk neutral, but that means taking a lot of risk because the most risk is the only way to become the wealthiest person in the world. And only by becoming the wealthiest person in the world can you avoid risk. You get it, Jamie?
Yeah, and that's the most ethical thing you can do, right?
That's clearly the most logical, ethical way to live. So
do you think that they kiss with tongue or not?
I think what he's saying is in order to avoid the risk of catching an STD, you have to take on a job as the bathroom mat at a brothel.
I see.
That's the risk-averse, or risk-neutral presentation.
I'm frantically rubbing my final brain cells together, trying to make heads or tails of that, and just nothing is sparking.
It is howling clown shit. It is absolute barking nonsense.
It is like a vortex of bullshit to be like, anyways, it's really clear, and the math couldn't be clearer that he has to be the most richest guy or everyone is going to die. It's actually really urgent.
It's one of those things because I have known a number of rich guys in my life, and some of them are ladies.
Good for you, Robert.
There's two kinds. There's people who were poor at one point, and some of those people are unhinged, and some of them still remember being poor enough to talk like normal people. And then there's people like this, who Sam was never rich as a kid, but he lived in this rarefied air where finance and the concept of worrying about money or his economic status was not a thing because everyone around him when he was a kid was so high status.
Right.
And he's just lived in this. It's not even a bubble. He grew up on a different planet. The world does not exist to him the same way it does to everyone else. And so he's that's the only way you can talk about things in this way.
It is
or you're a
that
giant
sort of
con
sinister
man.
thing where you're talking about everything. It is very my thinking is it's so easy for him and people like this to think of other people as theoreticals because they've never had a problem before. So it's
they've never had a problem,
are a game of chance because I've
never met a
person.
Right. He has never known a human being. Just Stanford professors. Sorry. Exactly. Just Stanford professors and problems in his video games. So
yeah, and not that all nerd. I mean, I'm afraid of nerd. People who identify as nerds coming into my mentions. I'm not saying that that's everybody, but I'm saying he's not been socialized like a person, and that mostly has to do with class.
Yeah. God damn it. So. The next thing that SBF did, after deciding he had to quit Jane Street, is start pondering how he might change the world in a way that minimized his risk by maximizing his risk or some shit. Anyway, as he told it, he considered 4 career fields.
Okay.
And these are his notes on the 4 things he might do after being a traitor. Number 1, journalism. Low pay, but a massively outsized impact potential. Number 2, running for office, or maybe just being an advisor. Number 3, working for the movement. EA, effective altruism, needs people. Number 4, starting a startup. But what exactly? Number 5, bumming around the Bay Area for a month or so, just to see what happens. Now again,
Sounds like a bad Bumble date. Like, you're just like, so what do you do? He's like, so startup maybe, but what is a startup really?
What is a startup? I don't know. So again, he spent years working in finance. He's got plenty of money. He came from the Bay Area. So 5 was an option, and it's one he took. And by the way, like as a general rule, if you decide to quit your job and you have the financial ability to putter around for a month or two and think things through, not a bad idea.
Sure.
But Sam is going to do this in the worst way possible. He eventually hits upon his great next idea, which is to make a shitload of money in crypto. Now, when he quits Jane Street is 2017. And if you guys can remember back that far, that's the first big winter when cryptocurrency boomed, like kind of all throughout the last quarter or so of 2017. Bitcoin was just sailing up, like massive rises. Ether had a big rise too. This kind of went around to
so young.
Early 2018. A lot of Bitcoin nerds who people had been making fun of for years became overnight multimillionaires. And this was kind of the first point at which normal people started to think, shit, maybe I should get into this. Maybe I can make a lot of money, right? This is the thing that blew up Bitcoin. And there was a crash after this, but it recovered, yada, yada, yada. Sam was savvy enough to look at this and know that these moments where this thing where a lot of funny money is on the table, but there's no regulation, and regular people have started to get interested because they think they might get rich. This is the point at which an unethical person can make the absolute most money in a financial market, right?
And you can be unethical. To quote one of the greats, you can be unethical and still be legal. That's the way I live my life. Haha.
And you know who else lives their life that way, Jamie Loftus?
You, when you're tossing the ads?
Yeah, that's right. I am indeed, baby. Here we go.
All right.
For period protection you can put on and forget about, nothing beats Knix leak-proof underwear. North America's #1 leak-proof underwear brand. Let's face it, life can be unpredictable, but your leak-proof underwear shouldn't be. That's why millions of people choose Knix. For periods, for light leaks, for everyday freshness. Knix undies are super comfy, super absorbent, and made to handle whatever your day throws at you. Day 2 of your period? Covered. Your daily run? No problem. That big sneeze? You know the one. Yep, we've got you. And with styles like bikinis, boy shorts, thongs, and high-rise, plus sizes from extra small to 4XL, Knix makes it easy to find your perfect fit. Say goodbye to stress and leaks and say hello to undies that work just as hard as you do, no matter the leak. Find the style and level of protection you want at Knix.com and use code FLOW15 for 15% off. That's KNIX.com, code FLOW15 for 15% off. Knix, for your leaks, for your life.
This is Radhi Devlukia from A Really Good Cry. I absolutely love being outdoors, even if it's just stepping outside for a bit of fresh air between meals or taking a mindful walk to clear my head. But the one thing that can really ruin that is when my feet feel cramped in my shoes. So I switched to ultra running, and honestly, it makes such a difference. What I love most is their signature Ultra Fit Comfort Balance Strength. They have this roomy toe box that lets my toes actually spread and move naturally, so I really appreciate that. And I feel more grounded and balanced with every single step. It's like my feet can finally do their job, using all those little muscles that make me feel stronger the more I move. Whether you are a marathon runner, beginner, or advanced, or just getting outside to train, Ultras have become my go-to for running and moving mindfully. They fit so well, they're so comfortable, and they just move with you. Shop now at ultrarunning.com and use my code CRY10 for 10% off. That's ALTRA running.com. Experience Ultra and stay out there.
Support for the show comes from Public, the investing platform for those who take it seriously. On Public, you can build a multi-asset portfolio of stocks, bonds, options, crypto, and now generated assets, which allow you to turn any idea into an investable index with AI. It all starts with your prompt. From renewable energy companies with high free cash flow to semiconductor suppliers growing revenue over 20% year over year, you can literally type any prompt and put the AI to work. It screens thousands of stocks, builds a one-of-a-kind index, and lets you backtest it against the S&P 500. Then you can invest in a few clicks. Generated assets are like ETFs with infinite possibilities, completely customizable and based on your thesis, not someone else's. Go to public.com/podcast and earn an uncapped 1% bonus when you transfer your portfolio. That's public.com/podcast. Paid for by Public Investing. Brokerage services by Open to the Public Investing Inc. Member FINRA and SIPC. Advisory services by Public Advisors LLC, SEC registered advisor. Generated assets is an interactive analysis tool. Output is for informational purposes only and is not an investment recommendation or advice. Complete disclosures available at public.com/disclosures.
Let's talk about modern home shopping. It's sort of become a fun side hobby, right?
Scrolling listings at night, dreaming about kitchens you've never seen, or backyards you haven't even stepped foot in, all from the comfort of pretty much anywhere. Redfin knows a lot of people like you want to own, but are stuck in this browsing mode loop. That's where Redfin flips the script. With listings that update within minutes and tours you can book right from the Redfin app, you can see your dream home the moment it appears. Now, liking a listing is easy, but actually landing it, that's where Redfin comes in. Redfin has over 2,200 agents with local expertise. And Redfin agents close twice as many deals as other agents. That means they want to help you win, not just window shop. Redfin is built to help you go from just looking to wait, this could actually be home. So become the newest neighbor on the block. Visit redfin.com to start finding and start owning. That's redfin.com.
And we're back. So, J-Loftus.
Yes, it's actually J-Lo. It's the first, I'm the first person to use that, and it's really starting to catch on.
Bold. Ben Affleck's calling me. One sec, Jamie. Let me take this call.
Oh, that's my boyfriend.
No, he's just weeping outside of a Dunkin' Donuts and pocket dialed me again. Normal Ben stuff. Am I right?
Oh, Ben. Look, Ben. Sometimes I meet up with my friend Ben at the Atwater Dunks, and I really set him straight. It's nice.
Yeah, Ben Affleck, sober for years and looks like he's hungover in every single photograph.
Oh, what a king, man! I love him.
I know, I do. I have a lot of. There's just something about him that warms my heart. It's his back tattoo. Of a phoenix.
I was gonna say you love his back tattoo.
It's just that takes courage, moral courage.
I just think it's so amazing.
He's fucked up.
That
I think we need to add
that
him.
back tattoo, and still got to marry Jennifer Lopez.
I think we should put his name on the Vietnam Memorial in honor of the courage that it took to get that back tattoo.
I mean, he is braver than the troops, and he did for a while hold the status of most divorced man in America. But that is now.
But he fixed it by marrying
I feel
Jennifer
like
Lopez.
the contest.
I was gonna say they did. To be fair, they did get married at a plantation.
I don't know. Yeah, that's all very fucked up. But I do feel the contest for most divorced man. Did you ever watch Dragon Ball Z as a kid, Jamie?
Yes.
I didn't. No, I didn't grow up with Dragon Ball Z.
Well, there's this thing. The Dragon Ball Z would always do this thing where like you have this guy and he's like the most badass person ever that everybody has to figure out how to fight, and it's this big problem because this is the most terrifying thing in the universe. And the next season, like, there's something that's like 1,000 times scarier. It's just this like power creep kind of thing. I feel like we've all been dealing with that with a divorced guy, because divorced guy Ben Affleck doesn't even register on the divorced guy scale next to Elon.
We're living in the age of Kanye and Elon. There's some really divorced guys. And look out, because Tom Brady is about to fucking hit the World Trade Center.
Tom Brady's going to go Super Saiyan divorced. It's amazing.
A third divorced man has hit the World Trade Center. It is bad. It's bad.
Oh, incredible. So back to Sam Bankman-Fried.
Right.
He has just decided to get into crypto. Now, the first way to make money in crypto that occurred to him, because he spends a bunch of time looking into the market, and he sees that there's this thing called, I think it's like the kimchi premium or whatever like that. They come up with some weird kind of racist name about it, which is basically Bitcoin is worth a lot more in Japan and Korea than it is in the United States, right? It's like worth 15 grand in Japan and Korea, and it's like 10 grand in the United States, something like that.
Why is that?
There's a variety of complicated factors. Basically, there's a bunch of different laws around banking and who can and cannot hold accounts and execute trades in those areas that leads to this premium. Because like normally, if a premium like that, if the markets were kind of accessible to each other, if Bitcoin's worth 15 grand in Asia and 10 grand in the US, then you buy Bitcoin in the US and you sell it in Asia and you get free money, right? Very obvious. If you can, but you can't do that because you can't get access to as an American, you can't like get a Chinese account in order to buy Bitcoin there, right? Or a Korean account or a Japanese account. There's all these laws that make it difficult to trade. So you can't just do like a
banking VPN?
No, you can't. You cannot do that, and no one can figure out how to do it. How, as a Westerner, to sell Bitcoin over in these parts of Asia and get that premium, right? And like just get a bunch of free cash. Sam figures out a way to do it. which is basically like picking up a pile of free money, right? If you're buying Bitcoin for 10 grand and other people want to pay 15 grand for it, you're just making cash, right? And primarily the way he does that is through friends in the effective altruism community who are like placed in banks and stuff over in Asia who like help him figure out how to do this. I'm not going to go into the details. This fucking dick writing article spends a long time explaining how he figures this out. And it might even have been legal. He may not have broken the law to do this, although it's kind of hard to know because all of this is complicated finance gibberish. By the way, I'm
not getting a word of this.
Finance guys call this an arbitrage, and it's basically the idea that if there's a resource that's worth a bunch more money one place than it is the other place, you buy it where it's cheap and you sell it where it's expensive and you get free money, right? That makes sense?
Yeah.
If I am Jamie,
do I sound panicked and defensive?
If my drug dealer sells me ketamine for like $40 a gram, right? And I don't know, at a house party, you're hanging out at a couple of blocks away, somebody says that they'd pay $70 a gram for ketamine. You can make 30 free bucks by taking the ketamine you bought for $40 and selling it at that other house party, right?
Okay, so that was you speaking to me in terms that you would understand, but I do think I got it.
Yeah. Ketamine makes everything make sense.
Yeah.
So
you just gave it to me in Robert speak. I got it.
He makes a shitload of money doing this, and he decides to roll this money into a company, which will allow him to hire employees to gamble with cryptocurrency at scale, to try and find different fucked up little areas like this where they can make a bunch of money by executing trades. He picks members of the EA community as his first employees, including Carolyn Ellison, a former co-worker at Jane Street, who we will be talking about in a little bit, and Nishad Singh, a former Facebook employee. Industrial scale dick writer Adam Fisher lets you know that Singh is an incredible, almost impossibly good human being by describing him this way. He often wears a t-shirt with the words "compassionate to the core" printed in diminutive all lowercase font over his heart.
Do you think that this writer, it's at this point he's on like a bucking bronco of SBF's dick? Like it's just absolutely ridiculous.
He is 50% this guy's dick by weight. It is unbelievable.
What does he think is going to happen for him?
He's going to get paid by Sequoia to write a 10,000 word article that they then pull from their website when it becomes clear this man is a massive financial criminal.
He's like, no, my greatest work.
It's extremely funny.
Okay.
Now, look, I don't know Singh, but based on the description that guy gives, I am convinced he's murdered a child with his bare hands. And that is my headcanon for this man. No one else would wear that shirt. So these EA nerds all form a trading firm called Alameda. And in doing so, they came down on one side of probably the biggest split within the crypto community. See, the core of the idea that's not bad that exists within cryptocurrency is that centralized state-controlled money has problems, right? You know, there's things about that are bad. And it could be cool and useful to be able to separate the money from the state if you could do that, right? If you could do that in a way that reduced the state's power to just lock down the bank accounts of dissidents and stuff like that. There's cool benefits to it.
Well, wait, I just had an idea. What if we did that, but then we gave all the money to one guy?
Well, that's kind of what keeps happening.
I see.
But also SBF's on the other side of this argument, right? Because obviously most of the actual benefits of a truly decentralized online currency are just you can buy drugs with it over the internet. But still, that is a real value. People do in fact buy drugs using cryptocurrency, and that's fine. And the committed ideological crypto people tend to keep their money offline in a wallet only they can access, right? So you have like a hard drive that has all of your crypto on it, and that only touches the internet when you plug that into your computer and you use it to make a transaction, right? And otherwise it's completely offline, and so people can't just take it from you, right?
Right.
That's the smart people. This is a pain in the ass, though, right? Like keeping it in this thing, like there's all these security. You can lose your password. People actually do lose their money this way too. But anyway, there's a measure to which it makes sense and is secure, but most people don't want to go through that pain in the ass. So they put all of their cryptocurrency in what are effectively crypto banks, these exchanges. And these exchanges are places like Mt. Gox, which a few years ago all of the money got stolen from, and FTX, which Sam Bankman-Fried makes, which also all of the money gets stolen from, right?
Right.
So the people who are like, no, you shouldn't do what Sam is doing, you shouldn't make an exchange because that's not decentralized, and we like this because it's decentralized, they are the ones who get robbed less often because they're a little smarter. And that's part of the point. These exchanges, they're meant for people who don't see crypto actually as like, well, I want to fight the state by removing my money from the banking system. They're for people who are like, I want to try to get rich quick by gambling, right? And that's why those people are also the most vulnerable to scams.
Robert, anytime you explain crypto to me, even though I know I need to understand it for the context of the episode, I just feel like I'm in a corner at a house party and I'm holding a clammy Bud Light and it's mostly empty. And you're like, just one more thing though, because I
mean, the important thing to understand is that what Sam has done. So crypto is like unregulated, right? It is detached from any state. Okay.
Right. Which is why people like it. Yeah.
What Sam has done is come in, and he's not the first person, the only person to do this, and said, I have built a place where you can keep all of your crypto and you can trade it with other crypto to try to make money the same way people do with the stock market, right?
Where it is more secure.
No. Because here's the thing, Jamie. He says it's secure, but here's the thing. So you know how the banking system, how banks used to just go bust and everyone would lose their money? And it caused a Great Depression. You get that part of the history of finance, right?
Oh, yeah. One of the characters from Titanic killed themselves over that.
Exactly. So that was a big problem. And we developed a bunch of regulations so that, among other things.
I know this part, Robert.
So what Sam has done is he's built a bank that has none of that so that people can gamble on the internet. Right?
Okay, so he can just create a crypto Great Depression.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah, exactly. That's all you need to understand is that Sam has built a big unregulated bank for people to gamble with.
Awesome.
Yeah. Anyway, and it could not have been clearer that this was a Ponzi scheme. In 2018, they put out an advertisement to investors, and I'm going to read it right now. I think you'll be like... We offer one investment product, 15% annualized fixed rate loans. We can accept both fiat and crypto and can pay interest denominated in either. These loans have no downside. We guarantee full payment, the principal and interest, enforceable under U.S. law and established by all parties' legal counsel. We are extremely confident we will pay this amount. In the unlikely case where we lose more than 2%. Anyway, again, I'm not a finance expert, neither are you, Jamie. Banks offer like a 3% return on like a fucking if you're like putting a pile of cash in a bank and you're getting 3% back, you're doing okay. 15%'s nonsense. That no one can guarantee that. It's not a real product.
I was pretty struck by their use of the language like we're pretty confident we're gonna be able to play. That just sounds like someone who's not actually very confident.
And also, if you are investing in the stock market, right? And someone says this investment has no downside, it's impossible for it to fail. That person's lying to you and breaking the law because it could and often does.
Because then you're making an almost guaranteed false promise.
Yes. You cannot say this stock can't go down, right? If you're a stockbroker, you cannot tell a client it is impossible for your investment in this company to fail because that would be a crime. But with crypto,
it's uncharted territory, baby.
It's uncharted territory. You can do anything. This is also a Ponzi scheme, right? What fucking Madoff was doing is he had this investment portfolio that was I forget what the exact, but it was promising an unbelievably high return and guaranteeing that people would get it, right? And what he was doing is as new people put money into the investment, he was using their money to pay the old investors so that nobody noticed that things were fucking up. But eventually, new people stopped putting money into the thing and it all fell apart and a lot of people lost billions of dollars, right?
Yeah. I'm back.
He was also using a lot of that money to live, an incredibly lavish rich guy life. Anyway.
Sorry, I only understand financial concepts when Selena Gomez breaks the fourth wall and explains it to me.
I'm doing my best to be your Selena Gomez, but I just...
Do you know who Selena Gomez is?
Yeah, she's that chick from The Thing.
Nailed it.
She's kind of in the middle of a fun scandal right now where she's in a feud with someone who donated her a kidney.
What?
Which is a very funny online feud.
How do you
dynamic.
get in a feud with that person?
Because she, okay, if you asked, Robert, this is something I can explain to you. So what happened was Selena Gomez needed a kidney donated. Her close friend who works in the industry, I don't know who it was, but I guess she's like sort of famous, gave her a kidney a couple of years ago. Then Selena Gomez turns around a couple of weeks ago and says, I have no friends in the industry except Taylor Swift. In comes her kidney donor being like, oh, that's interesting because I'm one kidney lighter, dude. Like, I'm not quoting it, but yeah.
Wow.
And then Selena, instead of apologizing, Selena Gomez is like, oh, sorry, I didn't thank every person I've ever met in my life.
Yeah, but I mean, Selena, she did give you a kidney.
Yeah, that's a special kind of friend. You guys weren't just like drinking buddies. She literally gave you a kidney. And that's
she
what
did.
I
She
can
did the
share
thing
with
that you would use as like a joking description of someone who'd done a lot for you to like, as like to hyperbolically say that you owed them a lot.
You know who's done, and implying that Taylor Swift has done more for you than your kidney donor is so. I just think it's the funniest feud of all time. All right, we were talking about cryptocurrency.
We weren't. We were talking about Selena Gomez, but let's get back to cryptocurrency.
Okay.
So to talk about what came next after establishing Alameda, I'm going to quote again from that Sequoia write-up. At this point, mid-2019, SBF decided to double down again and scratch his own itch. He would bet Alameda's multi-million-dollar trading profits on a new venture, a trading exchange called FTX. It would combine Coinbase's stolid, regulation-loving approach with the kinds of derivatives being offered by Binance and others. He only gave himself a 20% chance of success, but in his mind, SBF needed extreme risk to maximize the expected value of his lifetime earnings, and therefore the good his earn-to-give strategy could do. The fact that he was, by his own lights, overwhelmingly likely to fail was besides the point. The point was this: when SBF multiplied out billions of dollars a year a successful cryptocurrency exchange could throw off by his self-assessed 20% chance of successfully building one, the number was still huge. That's the expected value. And if you live your life according to the same principles by which you'd trade an asset, there's only one way forward. You calculate the expected values, then aim for the largest one, because in one, but just one alternate future universe, everything works out fabulously. To maximize your expected value, you must aim for it and then march blindly forth, acting as if the fabulously lucky SBF of the future can reach into the other parallel universes and compensate the fail-son SBFs for their losses. It sounds crazy, or perhaps even selfish, but it's not. It's math. It follows the principle of risk neutrality. Yes, it actually is crazy. That's not math. I'm sorry. That's actually not math. Like,
that wasn't math, but
nonsense.
That was a lot of words all at once. That is like, oh my God, the spiraling logic of this.
You are using hundreds of words and high-minded bullshit rhetoric to be like, gambling is the best way to make money.
He used fabulously 3 times in one sentence.
Yeah, man. You know who I've heard this basic argument from? My friends drunk in Las Vegas explaining why they're trying to play at the craps table again.
Why they don't want me to leave the little horsey game. This is someone's like, no, don't leave the Sex and the City slot machine.
No.
And here's why.
You want to hear my mathematical thinking on gambling, Jamie Loftus? Because this will make more sense than anything that happens in the Sequoia article. Okay. When I go to Las Vegas, I find me the penny slots where I can see the most waitresses walking around with those little trays that they have the drinks and stuff on.
Pervert.
Then I sit down at them and I don't start to play until one gets close to me. And then I press the button as soon as she walks past and I like catch her attention. Disgusting. And then I get a free drink. And the way that it works out is that as long as I can get more free drinks than I'm spending at the penny slots, and mostly I'm just reading a book and hiding it while I'm at the penny slots, and I only press it when the waitress gets near.
Oh, he's not like the other Vegas guys.
I can drink effectively for free, right? It works out to be like 25 cents a drink if you're really smart about it.
That's
pretty
smart.
My financial advice to all of you.
I do respect that.
How you make it even better. I used to go with a bag because when I was poor, what I would do is I would go to Vegas once every couple of years, usually for work, and I would get all the free drinks, which came in glasses a lot of the time, and I would keep the glasses. And so I was able to furnish my apartment with stolen Las Vegas glasses.
I love stealing glasses. I've stolen my fair share of glasses in Vegas.
Sometimes I would get up to the floors where there were the nicer hotel rooms, and I would find all the people who'd set out their plates and stuff from like room service, and I would just take those and take them back to my house.
Asshole.
I respect that.
I'm trying to think. I was like, I don't have a real system for. Well, actually, when I go to Vegas, I always stay at the hotel with a roller coaster on top. And here's what I do: I go on the roller coaster once, sometimes twice. Then I go see one show. Usually, it's horrible. The last time I went to see the Backstreet Boys, and guess what? I found out one of the Backstreet Boys is in QAnon, and then I got bumped out from this. It was a real bummer.
That was a fun text
The point
thread.
I want to make, Jamie, is that what I just described to you, my Vegas strategy, has made me infinitely more money in net profit than Samuel Bankman-Fried is actually going to make in cryptocurrency.
Oh, fun foreshadowing.
Yes.
Wait.
So
he would never hang out near waitresses, though, because he's probably afraid of women.
He's probably afraid of them, but I am fine with asking women for a free drink as long as I'm paying at the penny slots, so it's not weird.
Wow, feminist icon
Robert Evans, getting those shitty Vegas Irish coffees because they come in the glasses I want the most.
Oh, those are nasty.
Yeah, but I like the glasses they used to come in.
They do have, I know, but then there's the consequence of having to drink what's inside.
Well, Jamie, that's why they call me a hero.
Nobody does
the Mahatma Gandhi of the West, they call me. The Jesus Christ of podcasting. These are all things people call me.
If you're gonna lie, make it realistic.
James Soph. Anyway, let's continue.
That sounds right.
Yep.
I'm like, yeah.
I think it's hard to justify being risk-averse on your own personal impact, SBF told me when I quizzed him about it, unless you're doing it for personal reasons. In other words, it's selfish not to go for broke if you're planning on giving it all away in the end anyway. Again, just clown shit. So
what?
All of this is a con, spoilers, so you don't have to think that much about it. In a recent series of text messages with a Vox journalist after his entire exchange exploded and everyone found out he was a financial criminal, Sam Bankman-Fried more or less admitted that everything he'd had to say about effective altruism was a con, meant to get people to trust him and invest in his company. And I'm going to read the texts. Yeah, I'm going to read the texts to you between him and this journalist, who, by the way, he put money in the Vox, so he helped fund this journalist.
Wow.
So the ethics stuff, this is the journalist. So the ethics stuff, mostly a front. People will like you if you win and hate you if you lose, and that's how it all really works. Sam, yeah, I mean, that's not all of it, but it's a lot. The worst quadrant is sketchy and lose. The best is win plus question mark. Clean plus lose is bad, but not terrible. He also misspells terrible, but whatever. The journalist then replies, you were really good at talking about ethics for someone who kind of saw it all as a game with winners and losers. Yeah, hee. I had to be. It's what reputations are made of to some extent. I feel bad for those who get fucked by it, but this dumb game we woke Westerners play where we all say the right shibboleths and so everyone likes us. And that's the actual truth here, right? That's the thing that's honest about it. It's like, it was all of this talk for everyone. That's the entire, this Miss Caskell motherfucker, the only reason his effective altruism thing exists as a funded thing is as a fucking shibboleth for billionaires who don't want to pay taxes and want to let the world crumble around them while sucking as much value out of the working class as they can and want to pretend like they're heroes at the same time so that people ride their dicks in articles like that fucking Sequoia piece.
That absolutely fucking ridiculous text actually is like a very important document.
It's incredibly important. It's deeply crucial.
I hate that there's such a crucial document that also includes he in it.
Yeah, there's nothing to be done about that one, Jamie.
Look, it doesn't feel good, but you know, our previous most important document to that effect was an IM that said ha. So a text with he is kind of the logical progression. That is fascinating. Do you have any insight into why he would so freely admit that? Now?
I don't actually. One of two things has to be happening. Because again, the spoilers, this all falls apart. His exchange goes from worth $32 billion to worth basically $0 in the space of
Linkin
literally...
Park in my head anytime you say it all falls apart.
24 hours this happens. His net worth falls 94% in a day. Because they realized that all of the money is gone, that he'd been taking money from one business and using to gamble in another and also to pay him and his friends. And all of the money that the investors had put in when they tried to withdraw it, their money that was supposed to be in there on paper, none of the money existed because again, he'd stolen it. Anyway, the context of this article makes it clear that he felt like, I don't know, whatever. This was all a confidence game, right? That's the key.
Yeah.
All of this could work. And the balance sheets, because people were looking at their balance sheet, I'm making money. These returns are great. And that money existed on paper until they tried to take it out, because then it actually wasn't there because he had already frittered it away. It's a confidence game. And we have that's the way it actually worked. We also know, and this is all still coming out, so I'm not going to get too much into it, but we know that he had FTX loan himself, Sam Bankman-Fried, about $1 billion. Like his paper value was like $22 billion, but he gave himself basically $1 billion in other people's money. Although he may have gambled that away. It's really unclear how much money he actually has liquid at the moment.
Okay. Do we think he has any?
I have no idea.
Okay.
Either he was like actually a gambling addict and a narcissist and he really did lose it all, or this was a con from the beginning, knowing it would all collapse and he got as much as he could out of it and he's going to wind up someplace without extradition, right? And that was the goal.
If you asked me a couple years ago, I would have said it's the latter, but I feel like the last couple of years have demonstrated so often that like people are just straight up not smart and don't have a plan, and it is all a narcissist shell game.
It's unclear at the moment. I'm going to read you some things at the end here, and you can kind of make your anyway, whatever. Okay. So after starting FTX, the company moves to Hong Kong and then the Bahamas, and they buy these like a $39 million mansion that he lives in with his friends using FTX tokens, which is like internal cash that his company issues based on the perceived value of the company.
How many rooms is that?
It's a shitload. And they're able to buy it because everything's like on paper, they've gone from nothing to worth $32 billion in like a year or two. And these idiot like property owners in the Bahamas are like, well, clearly the best thing we could do is buy this building using the fake money they created for their own company that they tell us is worth a lot of money. This is worth it. So since everything collapsed, some people that SBF had like reached out to as early investors have commented about why they didn't invest in this company in the early days. And most of them, it's because like what they could see of his investments, the tens of millions that he promised to charities and the long positions in risky crypto companies didn't make sense. They would look at like the things he was buying with the company assets and the things that like he was investing in and be like, well, there's no way he could have that kind of liquidity if this is a legitimate exchange, right? He can't have that kind of cash on hand. It doesn't make any sense.
Rich fucking assholes always telling themselves like that. Yeah. That's funny.
And what's funny is that like I found one of these guys who like, I didn't invest because I could tell it was a con, and then was like, but I didn't tell anybody because I didn't want to get yelled at.
No, that's unfortunately I do see myself in that statement a little bit where I was like, oh, someone might send me a rude text.
Yeah, I guess I won't say anything about this. Yeah.
Oh my God.
It's very
spineless, goofy bullshit.
I don't know. I'll tell you one thing, Jamie. He's a spineless guy who still has his fucking money.
Wow, you're in love with him. That's what? Wow.
Yeah, wow. Whatever. It's the finance industry. They're all ghouls. So
they're all ghouls.
From what we can actually tell now, because again, this fucking Captain Dick Writer, the bad writer, like I have to read you another quote that I didn't have in my script to give you an idea of just how much he loves SBF. Here's a quote from him. Okay, yeah, this is actually Jamie. Oh boy.
Ooh, this is when
the writer, Captain Dick Writer, is hanging out with him in the Bahamas at his office. Quote,
and he's like, what if we kissed?
Okay. Sensing an opportunity for connection, I chip in with my own 2 Satoshi, which is 2 cents, but a Bitcoin term. Anyway, whatever.
I'm going to walk into the ocean. Yeah. Wow. Okay.
I don't pay any attention to social media, not because I have any moral case against it, I say, but because for me, reading books is the highest bandwidth way I know to get quality information into my brain, which just craves the stimulation. I'm addicted to reading, which explains how I ended up being a writer. Oh yeah, says SBF. I would never read a book. I'm not sure what to say. I've read a book a week from...
Whoa!
I hate them both because I'm not sure what to say. I've read a book a week for my entire adult life, and I have written 3 of my own. I'm very skeptical of books. I don't want to say no book is ever worth reading, but I actually do believe something pretty close to that, explains SBF. I think if you wrote a book, you fucked up, and it should have been a 6-paragraph blog post.
Meanwhile, this guy's writing a 10,000-word article writing a stick that he will not read. This is
so
like
funny.
It's like two guys whose heads are made out of rocks just going like clonking against each other repeatedly.
Just wait, Jamie. It hasn't gotten as bad as it's going to get.
Oh no!
Whatever the case,
are like, I hate books.
Whatever the case, I find myself sad for the man, and it occurs to me that my reaction is exactly what might be expected from a beta in the brave new world crypto is creating.
Whoa!
How can you write that and not leap off the top of a building? Like,
he literally self-identified as a beta to what?
And also, just like what I love about this is just like, well, we have to take
Sigma?
it. We have to take it as given that crypto is creating a brave new world, and none of us has any choice in that. It's inevitable. It's unstoppable. It's going to dominate everything. Which is like
capitulate to our beep beep boop boop overlords. Yeah.
So I think again, what I wonder, does he think I think? Wouldn't someone with IQ points to spare realize that dismissing all books is essentially worthless might rile a writer? Was he playing with me? Is this fun? Is this humor? I'm satisfied with my meta-analysis until I realize that one can always increment the level of strategic play in this sort of game. It's like poker. Level 1 is just thinking about how to strengthen your own hand. Level 2 is thinking about what your opponent's hand is. Level 3 is thinking about what your opponent thinks your hand is, and so on. And since SBF is obviously a genius, I should simply assume that, compared with me, SBF will always be playing at level N+1, which makes my analysis of the intent behind SBF's Books for Losers idea spiral into infinity and crash like a computer.
Robert, is this how you write about me in your diary?
No, Jamie, because do you know what the only ethical, speaking of ethics, you know what, if you think this way about conversations, the ethical thing to do is fill your pockets with rocks and walk into the ocean.
Wow, you're wolfing this guy.
Yeah, I absolutely am. Him and Sam Bankman-Fried. I could not hate these people more.
I mean, there's never been two wronger people having a conversation.
And of course, it came out, he's just like, well, obviously he's a genius. We have to assume that because he became a billionaire. And it's like, no, he was never a billionaire.
Robert, in his defense, that's math. He did the math.
He faked a balance sheet. We've now gotten access because he had to go into bankruptcy and step down. So now there's a caretaker trying to get people's money out of the company. And we know shit we've seen the Excel files where they kept their financial records. And it's him being like, this is basically bullshit. Sorry about this. We fucked this up. We weren't actually keeping records here. The company balance sheet, there was no accounting department. People would file their when they would spend tens of hundreds of millions of dollars on things, they would just message each other on Signal about it to get approval and had deleted messages on. So there's actually no record of a lot of the accounting. They did at one point hire an outside accounting firm to handle their accounting of this $32 billion company. And the firm they hired is it bills itself as the only metaverse-based accounting firm.
God.
The accounting firm for this $32 billion company exists entirely within a crypto-themed video game called Decentraland. It is so fucking stupid.
And worse with everything you're saying. Okay, so this is bad, and this feels bad to hear. I have a question.
Yes, Jamie.
Who is, I guess, because I am kind of back in Lizzie Holmes land, because that whole departments that should be, taking care of shit don't even exist, which is very Theranos adjacent to me.
Theranosy, yeah.
Theranosian, if you will, as look, we've both written books. We can just make up random words.
Of course. Yeah, that's mostly what writing a book is, for sure.
I view myself as the beta of this conversation, and so I feel comfortable asking you, Robert. Who is ultimately affected by this? What is the trickle down of this? What happens? Is it just other rich assholes, or does it affect regular, does it affect people?
Probably. There will presumably be some. Here's the thing, and here is why there's that lawsuit against Larry David and all those other guys who appeared in the FTX ad. Yeah. Presumably a bunch of regular people got suckered into putting their money on FTX, and those people have probably lost some money. That said, For the most part, it's fine because most of the people who lost money are like gamblers who probably suck as much as this guy did. And it's one of those things. There's just an article, I think at Financial Times, where someone was like, actually, and I think they actually had a good point. We shouldn't regulate the crypto industry because if we regulate it, it will be brought in closer to the actual financial industry as it exists, and banks will put more investments into crypto, and it will get seen as like legitimate and backed by the state. And so when these con men destroy tens of billions of dollars overnight and cause panic in the industry, it will affect the real economy. And right now it doesn't seem to. And like, yeah, I guess that's not a bad point. Maybe we just let it die on its own. I don't know.
It seems like there's more, like, we'll know more.
Yeah. So, yeah, we will continue to learn more. Now, one of the things that's funniest about this is that Sequoia, this investment firm, put like $200 million into the company, which they have all written off now. They're accepting it as a total loss.
They're going full Batgirl on this. Okay.
Now, when you hear this very serious investment firm put $200 million into this business, you probably assume, Jamie, wow, I bet he had a good pitch, right?
I don't know. If we're talking Theranos, I actually don't think that is that's not disqualifying to have a dog shit pitch.
You know who can make this clear for us is Captain Dick Ryder.
Oh,
Quote,
thanks.
SBF told Sequoia about the so-called super app. I want FTX to be a place where you can do anything you want with your next dollar. You can buy Bitcoin. You can send money in whatever currency to any friend anywhere in the world. You can buy a banana. You can do anything with you want with your money from inside FTX. Suddenly, the chat window.
Arrested Development.
It's also like
sentence. How much did a banana cost?
I don't know. I feel like I can do anything I want with my debit card. Like, I've never run into a thing I wanted to buy and been like, I cannot.
No, how do I access this
I can even buy drugs with it by going to an ATM. If I were to be a person who buys drugs, which I'm not, I could go to an ATM and take out cash and purchase
Support your
drugs
local
with them.
drug dealer and banana vendor for crying out
Unbelievable.
loud.
So he gives this banana pitch. Quote, suddenly the chat window on Sequoia's side of the Zoom lights up with partners freaking out. I love this founder, typed one partner. I am a 10 out of 10, pinged another. Yes! Exclamation point, exclamation point, exclamation point, exclaimed a third. What Sequoia was reacting to was the scale of SBF's vision. It wasn't a story about how we might use fintech in the future or crypto or a new kind of bank. It was a vision about the future of money itself, with a total addressable market of every person on the entire planet. I sit 10 feet from him, and I know it's these people are just they are jokes.
Like 3 executives doing lines of coke and one swallowing a banana with the peel still on. They're like, yes.
Yep.
Oh my God. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's I mean, which does kind of continue with the trend of like, SBF has never had a problem or a like anything to overcome. Like if it's this easy for him to con people into shit, like of course you would have a God complex. You've never been told no.
Yep. It's cool. So what Sequoia was I have to continue this fucking quote. And next he's going to talk about a person who works at Sequoia and is in the room for this. I sit 10 feet from him and I walked over thinking, oh shit, that was really good. Remembers Aurora. And it turns out that fucker was playing League of Legends through the entire meeting. And this is framed in the article and in all the coverage before everything fell apart is like so awesome. He's so cool. This writer talks a bunch about how like Sam never stops playing video games. When he's talking to this writer, when he's having corporate meetings, he's playing video games basically 100% of the time. And this is always mentioned as like, he's always working. He's always in the office. He sleeps in a beanbag chair at his desk. And it's like, no, dude, he's not always working. He's conning you and he plays video games all the time and pretends that that's a fucking job, which is great. Great con. Good for you, buddy.
Always working and always there. 2 very different flavors of things happening.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's all part of the fucking con. So is the fact that he always wore like ratty old athletic shorts and like a wrinkled t-shirt, because like that's for if you are a young man in the tech industry, that makes people think you're a genius, right? Because geniuses dress like shit.
He's like, now if I bring a real stink into the room, people are gonna like jack up my already fake IQ score about 20 points. Yeah, this is fucking horse shit.
And it's like, you know who else dresses like shit? The guy I used to buy weed from.
Oh. Yeah.
But,
Does he also have a pet snake?
You know who wears the same outfit as Sam Bankman-Fried? My old buddy who once at a party got into an argument with a guy and broke 15 bones in his face because they were both drinking. Not a corporate genius.
I do like that shared aesthetic where it's like really the difference is the pet snake. That is that's how you truly can sniff out the millionaires from the yes.
So
I want a pet snake. Anyways.
He's the same kind of person as Elizabeth Holmes. And he was, again, he's a confidence man. And this gets us into the Larry David shit, because the thing about being a confidence man is that as long as people are convinced their money is safe and most of them don't try to pull it out, then you can keep the con going and you can keep the fake numbers increasing and everyone will think you're richer and you can actually get real money out of this. So one of the things that he did is he would pour shitloads of money into sponsorship deals and to other ventures to make his company seem legit. One way he did this, he spent $17.5 million through FTX to sponsor the athletic teams at UC Berkeley. He launched a $20 million ad campaign with Tom Brady and Gisele Bündchen. He offered NFTs at Coachella. And he spent $135 million on the naming rights for the Miami Heat's home arena. And this is all to build confidence, right? You see, it's it's the same thing Crypto.com did, by the way, with the arena in y'all's.
I was about to say, I feel like the Crypto.com arena is not long for this world, and
you have to assume
we don't recognize that as an act.
Is my money safe in this thing that's a bank but not a bank? Well, their name is on the arena, so it's probably legit.
Here's the thing: it's like now walking into the Crypto.com arena, I couldn't feel less safe. I couldn't feel less secure.
Nobody calls
Unlike
it
when
that.
it was the Staples Center. I'm like, oh, you know what's never going to go out of style? Little
Staples.
notebooks.
People have been using Staples since we were cavemen, I assume. So
yes, the earliest technology.
Just like the worst fucking name on earth. It infuriates me.
These people.
Yeah, so Sophie has a dog in the fight. I
do.
In his interview with Vox, Sam basically admits this, albeit in a slightly careful way. Journalist. So FTX technically wasn't gambling with their money. FTX had just loaned their money to Alameda, who had gambled with their money and lost it. And you didn't realize it was a big deal because you didn't realize how much money it was. Sam responds, and also I thought Alameda had enough collateral to reasonably cover it. Journalist says, I get how you could have gotten away with it, but I guess that seems sketchy even if you get away with it. Sam, it was never the intention. Sometimes life creeps up on you.
He literally said life comes at you fast.
Yeah, life comes at you fast. So Sam's net worth tops out at around $22 billion on paper. In reality, neither Alameda nor FTX had ever taken in even close to that much money. The valuation was based entirely on nonsense calculations that were themselves based on lies from FTX's extremely cooked books. There's a lot more about this than we're getting into. People are still finding this all out. There is one thing I should probably read, which is, when his company collapsed, he had to step down from running it, right? And because a lot of money is still in there and a lot of investments are still tied up in that, they put a guy in charge of the company again, right? And there's specific dudes in the business world whose job is to come in when a company fucks up like this and try and get as much money back out for the shareholders as possible to minimize the bleeding.
So they kind of have how they had in old Hollywood, they have a fixer guy.
Yeah. They have and this fixer guy specifically. He is the guy that they brought in when Enron, he took over Enron after it fell apart in order to try and minimize the damage from it. So he is the guy who got brought in to deal with the fact that this massive fucking crime happened with Enron. One sec.
My favorite Enron memory, not that you asked, rude, was the Women of Enron Playboy spread that I got to archive during my time there.
Oh God!
And boy, did those Enron girl bosses have their.
So
it's second only to Women of 7-Eleven, which is my actual favorite spread. Continue.
So, first off, you should know this company has about 1 million creditors, so about 1 million people possibly lost their entire investment in this company, which is a stunning amount of people to take money from. And again, we are probably looking at $5 or $10 billion stolen, something like that. It's kind of unclear the exact amount. But anyway, this is what the guy in the Delaware bankruptcy court filing, this is what the guy who took over Enron after it became clear that the whole company was a criminal enterprise. This is what that guy wrote about Sam's company.
Oh, no. Okay.
Never in my career have I seen such a complete failure of corporate controls and such a complete absence of trustworthy financial information as occurred here. From compromised systems integrity and faulty regulatory oversight abroad to the concentration of control in the hands of a very small group of inexperienced, unsophisticated, and potentially compromised individuals. This situation is unprecedented. Again, that's the guy who took over Enron.
I was
I've never
that
seen
is literally like Bill Clinton dropping a notes post being like, never have I seen a more cheated on my wife in any, like, that is so absurd.
Well, I will say it's different. This guy did not commit any of the Enron crimes, right? This is the guy who comes in.
He saw them all. Like,
no. This guy is after. He's brought in it becomes clear that
this guy started a sentence with never in my career.
This guy, it's probably best to look at this guy as like an EMT. When it becomes clear that a company that has a shitload of money in it and is central in the economy has collapsed because people broke the law, he comes in to minimize the damage. But he was not working at Enron previously, right? Like he's not trying to like stop anyone from getting in trouble. He's trying to minimize how many people are hurt by this.
Yeah,
anyway,
no, of course.
Yeah. I just want to make clear, like, that guy's job. Anyway, whatever.
Yeah, he's not the Enroner.
He is not the Enroner. He did not make Enron bad. He's just was there afterwards and was like, this company's even worse.
He bought the issue of Playboy and then he kept it pushing. Yeah.
So we're getting close to done. I should note that before everything collapsed, Sam, again, he's in the effective altruism. He promised to donate like a couple of $100 million to these EA causes. A lot less than that actually got out. Some of them were good, but a lot of it was like, so he made a huge point that he was like, one of his major priorities was pandemic prevention, right? We have to stop the next pandemic. I'm going to put as much money as I can into pandemic prevention. That's the best effective altruist thing that I can do. To talk about how well that actually worked, I want to quote from the Washington Post here. FTX-backed projects ranged from $12 million to champion a California ballot initiative to strengthen public health programs and detect emerging virus threats. Amid lackluster support, the measure was punted to 2024, to investing more than $11 million on the unsuccessful congressional primary campaign of an Oregon biosecurity expert, and even a $150,000 grant to help Monclef Slough, the scientific advisor to the Trump administration's Operation Warp Speed vaccine accelerator, write his memoir. So that sounds like a giant waste of money, right? That sounds like
that sounds
none
like
of it.
A lot of money
even if
set
it
on
was
fire.
like good, it sounds like it didn't. Like even if the goals were good, like the ballot measure failed, like it got punted, right. So it's not like it worked. And it gets worse because SBF's fund also put a lot of money, like $5 million, into ProPublica. And ProPublica, they've done a lot of cool stuff. They also recently published an extremely flawed investigation that backed the lab leak hypothesis. The LA Times and their analysis of this deeply flawed piece of reporting.
And also, we've got some notes for the LA Times as well.
Yes, nobody's perfect.
Proceed.
The LA Times called it a train wreck, noting, the article is based heavily on Chinese language documents that appear to have been mistranslated and misinterpreted, according to Chinese language experts who have piled on via social media since its publication. It also takes as gospel a report by a rump group of Republican congressional staff members asserting that the pandemic was, more likely than not, the result of a research-related incident. And this has been, the fact that ProPublica published this has like provided a shitload of fuel to it was all a fucking lab leak from China. It's China's fault.
I wasn't
Republican
aware of that.
shit. Yeah, Jesus. Sam Bankman-Fried funded that shit.
Oh my God.
Yeah, basically none of the shit he was putting in money into that was supposed to be good really worked. And a lot of it was, so another thing the right is doing right now is they're talking about, he was like the number 1 or number 2 donor to Democrats during the midterm elections.
Right behind Seth MacFarlane. Yeah.
Yeah, but none of his donations worked. And also it was like $32 million he gave to the Dems. He gave like $24 million to the Republicans. And the reason he was giving this money, number one, there were some like pro-pandemic response candidates he wanted to back, most of whom didn't do well. But also like a lot of the money was towards Republican and Democratic candidates who were going to be part of the regulation of the crypto industry because he wanted to have a seat at the table and push regulations in a way that...
Okay, so any candidate that would enable that is someone who's getting money.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, in general, nothing at Alameda or FTX was as it seemed. In that Dick Writing Sequoia article, Carolyn Ellison, the CEO of Alameda, he talks about her a bit, and like he frames her as like this quintessential innocent nerd girl, plucky and ethical and optimistic, to show like these are the kind of, smart young Gen Z kids that are, building this great company. And like she showed up in LARP gear to meet with Sam and talk about the future of their great financial enterprise. And she's an ethical altruist. Since everything fell apart, it's come out that she and Sam were dating each other and possibly other members of the company. And also people have found her.
Now we have the full Liz Holmes loop has been completed.
Here we go. People have found her Tumblr, and boy, is she sketchy as hell. I'm going to quote from a report on her Tumblr activity in decrypt.com. Boy, howdy. When I first started my first foray into poly, I thought of it as a radical break from my trad past, the account wrote in February 2020. But TBH, I've come to decide that the only acceptable style of poly is at best characterized as something like Imperial Chinese harem. The account went on to detail how a polyamorous dynamic should ideally function as a cutthroat market of sexual competition and subjugation. None of this non-hierarchical bullshit, the account elaborated. Everyone should have a ranking of their partners. People should know where they fall in the ranking, and there should be vicious power struggles for the ranks.
Oh my God.
It gets worse, Jamie. The Ellison linked account also demonstrated a substantial preoccupation with HBD, or human biodiversity, an online euphemism for the discredited fields of race science and eugenics popularized by the alt-right. Oh boy, give me one more paragraph and then we can talk about this, Jamie. Ellison has for years vocalized her diehard obsession with Harry Potter. In one post, her affiliated Tumblr account tied her love of online character quizzes to her penchant for sorting Indians by their caste, which she presumed to indicate genetic distinction.
Oh my God.
Holy shit.
Even J.K. Rowling wasn't thinking something that fucked up, and that's really saying something. Someone needs to tell
Amazing. Astonishing.
Tumblr is exclusively for Sherlock fan fiction and things that trigger my eating disorder. That's it. I cannot oh, that's so dark.
I almost can't fathom it, right? And again, there's so much. We probably will do a follow up at some point because, like, the fact that it was this easy for like some fucking crypto rag. They're not the only ones who reported on it. To find her Tumblr where she talks about race science makes me think these guys were all probably into a lot more fucked up shit than they let on. So we'll see.
God.
We'll see.
We don't have the hour for me to decompress the way I need to after hearing that sentence specifically.
Yeah, I need a cigarette.
I'm going to start smoking today, and I hope she's fucking happy. Oh my God. That is
it's
brutal.
So funny.
What a brutal place to land. Thanks
so
for fucking
funny.
Nothing, Robert. Jesus.
Anyway, hopefully they're all of their money's gone, but they probably squirreled away millions and stuff for themselves. Although, at least one of the articles I've read says that like his net worth is effectively zero now. But sure. I don't think anyone actually knows what his net worth is right now, like, and how much he got. Like, his company went from valued at $32 billion to most recently there's something like $650,000 in actual assets left. But I also kind of think he and the others probably have millions or tens of millions that they set aside in shady ways for themselves.
Wow. I mean, well, that does sound like what the Beanie Babies guy would do, and that is my yardstick for morality. That is so that is very, very scary to consider. I feel like guys like that. The thing that is I mean, I don't know. Whenever you hear about, like, it is so karmically satisfying to know that someone like SBF can be completely bottomed out and like destroyed by something like this. But the thing is, like, when rich guys like that lose everything, they just come up with worse, more hateful ideas and then come back. And that is like always what kind of scares me about that.
Yeah, it is so funny. I don't know, Jamie.
I don't know what the solution is. That's not like I want him to have money again. I just, how can you make someone say less?
Again, I think the solution
is... The podcaster's dilemma.
I think look, here's where I'll land on this. I don't think people should be thrown into cages generally, unless there's literally no other way to stop them from harming folks.
Right.
So, and I don't think that's the case with these people. So instead, I think the actual solution is to close from the outside all of the doors to the fucking rich person apartment complex they occupy in that Bahamas development. Lock it from the outside, and once a week drop in food and necessities via a helicopter, and never let them leave or use the internet again.
Yeah.
Have them all just be with their friends in their weird little compound, going increasingly insane with their Chinese harem shit. I don't know. I guess that's another kind of prison. But if we film it, we can make money.
Well, but then SBF may have to face his worst fear, which is reading a book.
Yeah, I guess like my serious answer is, what do you do to people like this? Is you stop them from ever being able to have access to money again or start companies again. And hopefully eventually they find something to do that actually helps human beings and is like of any kind of use. Like working at a grocery store, that's a real benefit. People need to get food, and people need, like, that's a respectable, honest way to make a living. And if any of these people were to get a job working at a Safeway, they would be providing an infinitely greater benefit to the human race than they could ever have performed.
Perhaps
working at
a bit
FTX.
more of that ethical side of the ethical altruism you were looking for.
Yes.
I'll be honest, I did not come to the recording today with a solution for the prison industrial complex, but I will say that I still don't like it. I still don't love it. Yeah,
I have no solution. But you know what I do have, Jamie?
What?
Your pluggables.
No, you don't. I have those.
Well, you have them, but I'm letting you have them.
Oh my God.
I mean,
I am giving.
I mean, I could probably do them if nobody wants to take this job.
I'll do it. I'll do them. Okay. Sophie, do you want to do them?
Yeah, I mean, you can pre-order Jamie's book, and that is linked in her Instagram bio.
It's true.
You can follow her on Instagram at Jamie Christ Superstar, and you can follow her on Twitter at Jamie Loftus Help if Twitter's still around. She has a podcast that she co-hosts with Caitlin Durante called The Bechdel Cast. You should listen to her many limited run series, including her most recent one, which is Ghost Church,
which Sophie produced along with the Bechdel Cast and everything. Every podcast on the planet.
This has now become a plug for me. Did I get everything, Jamie?
Yeah, that's exactly what I would have said, except worse.
Yeah, yes. So pre-order Raw Dog.
Oh. Yeah. Thanks, Sophie. Yeah, pre-order Raw Dog. If you listen to the hot dog episode of Bastards and didn't like it, you did like it. Now buy the book.
Yeah, legally you did like it. And if you disagree with that statement, we will send the CIA to kill your family.
Yeah, and let's make sure to attribute that quote to Robert Evans specifically.
There we go.
And speaking of Robert Evans specifically, Margaret Killjoy specifically, and myself will be doing a Behind the Bastards virtual live stream show on December 8th. You can get tickets at moment.co/BTB.
Love it.
Also, I have a Substack now because Twitter's not doing great, so
that makes me so sad.
Why? I like writing things. I got to write a thing last night.
That's
Sophie,
so
don't you want me to write
Robert.
more things?
I subscribe.
It's better for me than being on Twitter all the goddamn time. Yeah, you can find it at shatterzone.substack.com. Go there, and I will be writing. I'll try to write something every week. Maybe I won't. Maybe all of this will fall apart, be lost in time like tears in the rain. Or maybe you'll get a new thing from me every week. There's no way to know.
Half the time when I get something from someone's Substack, because I subscribe to quite a few, but every time I get a message from someone's Substack, it's always like, I'm so sorry. I'm like, I didn't notice. Just give me the content and I'll see myself out.
Yeah. It's fine. Look, I don't know. I've been meaning to write more stuff as opposed to just tweeting shit posts. So maybe it'll happen. Maybe it won't. There's no way to know.
Perfect.
Behind the Bastards is a production of Cool Zone Media. For more from Cool Zone Media, visit our website, coolzonemedia.com, or check us out on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
This is Radhi Devlukia from A Really Good Cry. I absolutely love getting outside, whether it's a quick walk or a mindful few steps between meetings, or even a longer run to just clear my head. But the one thing that can really ruin that for me is shoes that just don't feel right. That's why I started wearing Ultra running. With the Ultra Fit, every step feels comfortable, balanced, and strong, like my feet can finally move freely. What really stood out to me was the roomy toe box. My toes actually now have room to spread out, which makes movement feel more natural and comfortable. And when your feet aren't cramped, you feel more balanced, like every step has a strong, stable foundation. I've noticed that with extra space, my foot muscles get to work building strength, so I can actually move with more confidence. Ultra fits and moves with you no matter your pace or your goals. Beginner or marathon runner, they've really become my go-to for any kind of running or training, and I always feel like my feet can do exactly what they're meant to do. Feel the difference by visiting ultrarunning.com and use my code CRY10 for 10% off. That's ultra, A-L-T-R-A, running.com. Experience Ultra and stay out there.
A BetterHelp ad. We get it. February is full of flowers, candy, and, of course, lots of talk about relationships. It can feel like everyone else has it all together in their love lives. But the truth is, we're all still figuring it out. Whether you're working on your marriage, navigating the dating apps, or prioritizing staying single, no matter where you are, you're right on time. Therapy can help you find your way and take some of the pressure off yourself so you can determine what you want, what feels heavy, and how you can feel lighter. Just a little bit of outside perspective from a professional can lead to new understanding and a lot of progress. So the next time you're feeling iffy about your love life, try therapy with BetterHelp and see where it takes you. And remember, you're right on time. Visit BetterHelp.com for 10% off. That's BetterHelp.com.
In the heat of battle, your squad relies on you. Don't let them down. Unlock elite gaming tech at Lenovo.com. Dominate every match with next-level speed, seamless streaming, and performance that won't quit. Push your gameplay beyond performance with Intel Core Ultra processors for the next era of gaming. Upgrade to smooth, high-quality streaming with Intel Wi-Fi 6E and maximize game performance with enhanced overclocking. Win the tech search. Power up at Lenovo.com.
Lenovo. Kids, pets, life, your sofa sees it all. But with a washable sofa, stains don't stand a chance. All of our sofa collections come with fully machine washable covers and cushions, making cleanup effortless. Liquid and stain-resistant fabrics provide extra protection against everyday messes. Plus, with modular designs, you can rearrange your sofa however you like. Perfect for growing families and changing spaces. Starting at just $699, it's time to upgrade to a stress-free, mess-proof sofa. Visit washablesofas.com today and save. Offers are subject to change and certain restrictions may apply.
This is an iHeart podcast. Guaranteed human.